Alright guys, welcome back. So in this one, we'll go ahead and send an account activation email to the user so that they can activate their accounts and get access to the application. So when it comes to tokens, we are going to be using this module called Django REST Framework Simple JWT. So this is actually going to be able to manage our JWT authentication scheme. It will easily give us refresh tokens for specific users. And then I want to use an access token to actually tie it to a specific user and then use it to verify their account. So right here, I'm going to stop the server and then install this package. So here on its documentation, so once you install it, you actually need to set up a key in your REST framework configuration. So I'm going to copy this one out. So it has installed. So if you come back to application and go to settings.py in the REST framework configuration, so right here I'm going to put a comma and then define this. So this is going to be default authentication classes. We want it to use our JWT class that ships with the package we just installed. Alright, so once we have this, now we need to actually send an email to the user once we create their account. So for us to be able to do that, we need to tell Django about a few things. So this will enable it to know how to send an email. So the first thing will be email use TLS. So of course this is going to be true. And then the next thing will be the email host. So this will be the SMTP server we use. So for us, we are going to use SMTP gmail.com. Yeah, but you can use SendGrid, you can use the Amazon services, depending on what you want to do. So use Gmail because it's really easy to set up. Now we need to define the email port. So email port, and this is 587. Now we need to provide credentials that will authenticate us. So you can do it using an app password, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use an account password such that I authenticate on behalf of the application. So we're going to need email host user. So this one is going to be, I'm actually going to use my credentials, the ones I use for my Google account, to be able to do this. So here, so I have an email called testsender100@gmail.com. Okay, and then we need to define a password for this. So this will be email host password. So I'm gonna copy this email host password. Alright, so this one basically will be the password of my own. But for now, I'm gonna keep it as XXX. Feel free to use your own. And now once we have this, now we need to actually go send an email, but I don't like having these details in my settings.py file, as when I push this to Git, everyone is going to be able to look at my emails and start spamming me over the internet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the OS module to pull these ones from a virtual environment. So here, I'm going to use os.environ.get, and then I'm going to call it email host user. So here in my main application folder, I'm going to create a file called .env, and so I'm going to define that. So email. So here in .env, to define the variables, you have to write export, then your keys. So email host user. So this is going to be actually my email. So once you have this, I'm going to duplicate it for the password. Email host password. So for now, it's gonna be only X's. Okay, but you use yours. Don't use the don't keep this, as it's not going to work if you keep the stars, unless your password is the stars, which will be awesome. Okay, so I want to move this one to the main project root. Okay, so right there looks good. So now we can do the same thing for the password. Email host password. So you can do the same things for all the environments you don't want to expose to Git, like your database credentials and the like. Now right here, in our views.py, we need to actually create a token for the user and use that to send it to their email. So I'm going to import something from REST framework, simple JWT, where is it? Yeah, like that. The tokens, import. This one is going to be called refresh token. Now, for us to be able to create a token, we can define token here. So token will be refresh token. Then we call a method called for user, and then we give it a user. So I'm going to set up user here. So for us to be able to get a user, actually here I can do user equals user, which we need to bring in our model because we need to query our database actually. So from .models import user. So down here we can do user.objects.get. Now we can get by email. So email will be user data, then email. Because we're sure by the time it gets here, then it will have a user created. So this will give us our email that for the new created user, and then we query to get which user it is. So this actually gives us access to the user, and we can create a token using for user. Alright, so that should give us a token. But the way it works is it actually gives us two tokens, the refresh and the access one. I'm going to create a class here so that it can help us to do like sending an email and the like. So now in here, I will define the class for util. We need to let's define a method called send email. So def send email. So I want it to be a static method. So I'm going to use this decorator, so static method. So this helps us to actually use this class method without instantiating the class itself. So I'll show you how that works. So send email, basically we'll take in some few information. So one will be data, another one will be, so it will be only data. We'll do almost everything else from here. Alright, so now, right here, now that we have the token, we can actually do, so we have the class, good. So let me add a pass here. So now that we have the class, we can import it. So from .util import util. Alright, so here we can actually do util.send email, and then we need to pass it in the data. So notice how I didn't have to do like util equals util, then util.send email. I just did util.send email. This is because this one is marked as a static method. Alright, so now let's define our data. So in our data here, so this is going to be, I'm going to use a dictionary. So the first one is going to be the domain. So for us to be able to get the domain we are running on, because if you think of it, we want a user to be able to click on a link in their email, and then the link should be able to bring them back to our application. So right now, for us to be able to get the link, to be able to get the domain, we need to use the sites framework. So from Django contrib.sites.shortcuts import get current site. Alright, so here we can do something like current site. This is gonna be get current site, and then this takes in a request which we have, so request, and then for us to be able to get the domain, we can do get current site dot domain. So let's bring it here dot domain. Alright, so that gives us the domain where we want to go, but now we want to have the page where they go to when they click on that email. So that will be another API view. So actually let me set it up here. So let me have like relative link will be so for now let me make it empty. So we need to set up a class to verify the user actually. So class verify email. So this one is going to be inheriting from, of course, generics, not generator. dot generic API view. So for now, I'm going to have a GET request. So def GET takes in a request. All right, so now we will have this, and what it will do basically, let me actually add a pass. So for now, it will be just a class. So for us to be able to get where to to redirect the user, we need to set up a URL for it. So I'm gonna add a comma here, copy, and then the path is gonna be email dash verify. So let me bring it in here, verify email. So verify email. All right, so give it a name too. All right, so once we have this, now we can get the URL to this file. So we can do that one using reverse. So here in views, I'm going to import reverse. So from Django URLs, import reverse. Okay, so what reverse does is it takes in a URL name. In this case will be email verify, and then it should be able to give us the path. So if we come back here, now here we can do relative link equals reverse, and then the view name will be email verify. All right, so once we have this, now we can construct our absolute URL. So we're gonna do abs URL. So this is gonna be the domain, of which in this case, the domain, let's say, oh, this should be domain, not delete. So this actually returns us something like google.com without a protocol. So I'm going to construct a protocol here. We're going to have HTTP concatenated on there, and then we're going to concatenate our domain, which we have in, so let me actually bring this one out, bring it here. Then I will only keep this. Okay, so we will concatenate get current site, and then we want to also concatenate this view. So we can add like dot the link, and then here I want to add a query program. So I want to do something like token equals, and now the token. So to get the token, it's gonna be here in token, like that. Then I said it returns a dictionary, so we want to access the access token. Actually, I'm going to bring this one up. So this one should be equals, and then plus, and then for the token, so right here, I'm going to add dot access here, just so we get only the access token. All right, so I believe, oh, this should be dot access token. All right, so once we have this, now we can say send email, and then we give it the details. So for now, you can see that we have, so on data, we have current site right here. So we have the domain, but now that we have the domain, which I'm going to actually replace with absolute URL. So now we need to define a couple of more things. So one is going to be the subject. So here I can do subject. So the subject will be like verify your email, and then since we are passing the domain, we'll be able to construct this one better. But what I want to do is actually do it here. Say that email only does things to do with the email, sending the email. So I'm gonna keep body here. So I'm gonna set this one to, let me actually prefix this with email body. This is gonna be email body. All right, so here, down here, now we can do email underscore body. So this is gonna be equal to, now we can construct our message. So hi, actually we can even add their name by doing user.username, and then of course we can concatenate something like use link below to verify your email. So now I'm going to add a new line down. So now I can concatenate our link. So new line and then the link. Alright, so the message now is saying, hey, blah blah blah, use link below to verify your email. And then on the new line, we have the link that we have constructed from here. Alright, so now in here, we have set up the body, we have set up the subject. Let me actually rename this to email subject. Alright, so once we have these two, now we can come to our utils, which is right here. And now we are going to be using the email class, the email message class. So let's import it. So from django.core.mail, import email message. And now here we can do something like email equals email message. So you can see email message takes in the subject and then the body, and all the other ones can be none. Okay, so we already have the subject in data, so you can do subject equals data. Then we want to look out for email subject, and then comma. Now we need to have the body. So this is going to be that, and then we can substitute this one for body. No, we don't need this here. We need a closing bracket. So once we have this, now we can do email.send. Alright, so once we have this, now we can actually test it out. So going back to our postman, I'm going to change the email to something else. Then click post. Let me also change the name, the username. Click post. The server is not on, so let me bring it up again. Try again, click send. Alright, so we actually have an issue here. Cannot concatenate str, can only concatenate str, not access token. Alright, so here in the views, here how when we were concatenating the token, it should be access token. So I'm gonna turn it into a string by doing str. Okay, so let's try again. Check our server. Oh, it's back. Let's try again. Let's use another email, username, send. Tuple has no attribute send. Okay. So here in our utils.py, so we defined email message. We gave it our details, and then we forgot a comma at the end. Damn it. So that turns everything into a tuple. So that's not what we want to do. So let's try again. Let's use another one, another one, another one, send. And you can see that now we get the email being, you can see that we get the user created. But now we want to be able to test if actually the email was sent. Oh, we actually forgot something here. So one of the key things we need to do is add a to. So this is where the email will be going. So to, now we need to define to. So to will be the user's email itself. So let's send it here. In our data, I'm going to copy this, duplicate it, and then this one is going to be to email, and then to email is going to be user dot email. Alright, so now here in the utils in send mail, we can define, so to actually takes in a list of recipients, but what we want now, or what we want to send to one user, so we can do data dot to email, so something like that. Alright, so let's try again. Let's use another user, another username, send. And yeah, so now you can see that it actually takes a while to give us a response. So let's see. Yeah, so you can see that there is an issue. This is an authentication error. So make sure that in your .m file, you have your correct credentials, which mine are actually wrong at the moment. But I'm going to make them right, and then I'll show you what to do next. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead to update my account password in .env. So once you do that, you need to make sure that your .env is can be read. So here, if we do an ls and do lsla, you can see that we have a .env. So you need to make sure that you source it in by doing source.env and then run back your application. So now if we try again in Postman, so I'm gonna use actually an email that exists. So Chris at Gmail, that's fine. Chris, good. So now let's try again. Click send. Alright, so after a while we can see that we get the user created, and then if we wanted to say like check your email, to check your account to verify your email, we could do that. So like here in your views.py, so here you can actually create another key in user data and then send that. So let me check my email to see if it actually worked. Alright, so you can see that I have verify your email coming in. If I click on it, you can see that I have hi, my username, use the link to verify your email, and then it's going to our correct domain, then our correct view, and then the token is actually here. So you can see that the access token is actually added to our URL. So now in the next one, we'll go ahead and activate the user's account. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.